Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video we're going to be taking a first look at S-Class Mackenzie, who is going to be the exclusive character for League's Season 15. You should be able to pick her up in the store for 32,000 unless the prices change, because there was no announcement otherwise, so it would normally be 32,000 of the season tokens. Visually, she does look a lot like the 6-star in-game as well. She has got the hearts around, but I guess, she was an equestrian. I think that's the right one, right? Where you ride horses. I think I'm correct here. So I guess you could say not much is going to change too much anyway. Maybe a color change or something like that, but it isn't too much of a change from her 6-star visually on her right-hand side, the model, and her avatar on the left-hand side as well. No, not much of a change at all. She is the same class, you know, she is a tough character. She is going to be holding the shotgun as well, so a lot is the same, but that's the way it is. I think she's, like I said in the previous video when we took a sneak peek of her, she's basically lost the backpack and gained this sword on her back. That's pretty much the main thing that I could see, but that's the way it is. As an S-Class character with 30 veteran rings, she has got 5,270 attack, 3,292 defense, and 3,962 HP. She is that tough character, like I said before. She is considered a support character. Her attack stat is very high for a support character, but other parts of her kit obviously do make use of that high attack stat. And that would of course be the Adrenaline Rush. It is called Not Dead Yet. 76 AP cost, deal 1,500% damage to a line of enemies, revive up to 2 teammates with 50% max HP. All teammates get 50% max HP for 2 turns. So this is actually quite an interesting rush. Very powerful healing side of it, but also extremely powerful damage dealing side of it as well. The healing side of it is like probably one of the best healers in the game, and if it was a defense team character, you'd be like, damn, everyone's getting healed and there's 2 revives coming in. You know, this is kind of what you would want someone like S-Class Barker to have been, who didn't do any heals himself, but he did revive characters with a certain amount of HP. In the order that these characters are getting revived and healed, they should be getting healed after the revive as well. So they should be revived to 50% max HP and then instantly healed for 50% and then have a 50% heal the next turn just in case they take any more damage. If I remember, there was 6-star Dante who had quite a similar rush when it came to the revive and the heal over time coming afterwards. We'll have to check this out. Okay, so we are on turn 3. This is the rush turn. You can see my Mackenzie is extremely low HP. I have taken in some little characters just to show how the revive would work. All of the fast characters really did focus Mackenzie here, unfortunately. What we're going to do is we're going to get the defense down up because it just makes sense. And then at this point, we can follow it up with some extra damage, and we'll see how much damage she can do to a line. What we're going to try and see as well is if the 2 characters that get revived actually get healed the same turn. Are they? Yes, they do. So they get healed for 50% from their revive, plus they get the 50% instantly because of the 50% over 2 turns, and now they've got 50% next turn as well. So what should happen is, let me see if I can maybe get some controlling here. I'm going to command this stun on attack. Nope. But what should happen is my character will take damage because of the bleed, but then they should all get healed back up again. That is actually not too bad. That is actually not too bad. So the heal, like I said already, I kind of knew it was going to be nice, but I wasn't 100% sure in terms of how the mechanics would work behind revive and healing. But it is obviously a nice combo. It is a good attack team rush, but man, if that was on a defense team character, remove that damage altogether and just put like either a cleanse or just something very basic. I don't know, impair 1 enemy or 2 enemies for like 2 turns or something like that. That would have been a really nice healer rush for a defense team. Her stats are a little bit too low to be used on defense, unfortunately, but other parts of her kit are going to enable some potential, which we will talk about in a moment. But before we do that, we will talk about her active skill. It is called Disarm and Regroup. It has an initial cooldown of turn 2, and it has a cooldown of 3. Number of uses, 5. Up to 5 teammates get 50% bonus HP. A line of enemies get disarmed and normalized for 2 turns. This character gets 50% max AP. So this is really good, again, on a defense team, attack team, and this doesn't really matter. Because she's always going to gain the AP, she's always going to get her rush The up to 5 teammates getting 50% bonus HP is going to be great on attack or defense in terms of just, it's basically like a shield from percentage damage, basic attacks. You know, it's going to keep you up a little bit longer. And the fact that it's a turn 2 means it's very powerful. There is a lot going on with this active, so for it to be turn 2 is kind of understandable. Normalizing and disarming a line of enemies. Again, you're controlling that normalize and you're controlling that disarm. You know exactly where it's going to go. There's no RNG for the second character. There are upsides and downsides to this in terms of you have to disarm a line of characters. If there's like 2 characters that you want to disarm, you have to disarm and normalize the line of characters. If there is, let's say there's a character you want to normalize on one side of the team and then there's another one you want to normalize on the other side of the team, you're never going to get that RNG that Princess and Brutus can add. That is going to be the downside. And like I said before with the AP, it's always good to gain AP on an active if you want them to naturally rush or be command rushed turn 2. So we'll check her out again, and this time around we will use her active skill. Okay, so we're going to attack again. This time we're going to use like a more full team, and we're going to focus Shane just because he has got that bodyguard, so he's not going to be able to absorb damage done to himself because it's done to himself. Now we don't do the active. We are forced to do the active on Frost, but it should hit Shane as well in terms of the normalize and disarm, and as you can see they're both normalized. That means that the bodyguard of Shane will no longer work, and it also means the guardian, or sorry, the human shield of Frost will no longer work. We can just stack up the AP as well, and then once I do my buffs we're going to see lots of damage come out from my team. And I'm going to save Ravens. We'll do defense down here because it makes sense. Hopefully we don't kill him. Good. Now we're going to do the line rush on the traders down the bottom. Now they are not defense down. They both resist it. But you'll see that there's going to be no bodyguard from Shane. And that is because he is no longer a specialist effectively. So now we can just clean up a little bit. And then we can just double. Okay. We don't have to double. Oh, we do. We do, but we get it done. So the normalize, of course, is the main deal here with the debuff. The disarm is a nice little bonus. That means I could rush someone with an absolute defense weapon and have no risk with a multi-hit, you know, rusher like Jeremiah. And being able to normalize a bodyguard is a big bonus just because they're quite frustrating. Can slow it down quite a bit. Generally, you have things like payback in line with shields as well when people run shields, so just speed you up a little bit in terms of just normalizing those troublesome specialists, and that is what she's going to do. But again, I think if you can work this character into a defense team, so far her rush is great, her active is great. It's just those stats. You're going to have to beef her out so massively with defense team weapons and mods and stuff. I'm just not sure if she's able to do it. However, she does have the specialist skill Outlast. That means when she is taken down, she will be able to still have a turn. One turn. If she isn't controlled, she'll be able to rush because she's going to be given full AP. It says, when this specialist is defeated, their death is delayed by 1 turn, during which they may still take an action and they receive 100% AP. You see other characters like this in the game. S-Class Tanya, for instance, who has the same sort of deal. But if you control Tanya, lots of people using Jesus on attack, you can easily just stop her from rushing, and it's going to be the same situation with Mackenzie, whether she's being used on attack or defense. She is going to be massively susceptible on defense, but if that happens, it's not going to be as big a deal just because she can potentially get that rush off. Another character that has Outlast, who is more of a offensive character but can maybe be used on defense sometimes, would be someone like Abraham. But I like the rest of Mackenzie's kit a lot for defense teams, so hopefully someone can get Outlast working for defense. Okay, I'm going to be showing her on a defense team now. I'm going to take out a lot of her buddies. This is just to show her revive in action, basically. And what we'll do is we'll try and take her out first turn. Andrea is massively offensive based, fully modded, and this Mackenzie is not. But like I said already, she isn't going to be hugely defensive, so she's going to take a massive hit. And that's what's going to happen. When she does get taken out without being controlled, for instance, I could have done Dr. Stevens active and done it that way instead of commanding Andrea and then controlled her so she couldn't do her rush, but I didn't do it in the right order, did I? I didn't do it in the right order. She's going to rush, she will do a lot of damage. And as you can see, the revives come in. Now these would obviously hopefully be a little bit more dangerous characters than a couple of Jebs, but this is just to give you the idea of sort of thing that she's going to do if she is on a defense team. She could potentially bring back dangerous characters even like other revives. Now, if they had their revive ready when they got revived, they would not actually revive Mackenzie, because she would still be in an Outlast state until the next turn, which is like right now. But if it's a Tanya, obviously Tanya just rushes over and over and over and over again. So there is potential for her to get revived back up, and then we have the same circle come back round. Like we saw with her rush before, anyone who she does pick up, even on a defense team, will be 100% HP, because the 50% for 2 turns will happen instantly. So quite a nice specialist skill, of course. It is very nice for a defense team. If you can get Mackenzie working on a defense team, she's going to work extremely well. Revives, full team heals, double revive in fact. She also has bonus HP on the active, AP gain, so she's not going to get slowed down. Nice control, normalize is pretty decent, disarm is pretty decent as well, even against attack teams. So yeah, I think she's obviously good for both teams, but you've got to massively tank her out. She's got to take as little damage as possible, and she's got to have resist, so that if she is taken out, it's going to be very difficult, extremely difficult to get it going. Now, she does not have an attached weapon, which obviously is actually quite good if she is someone who you want to have on attack and defense. You can switch weapons into her hands as as you want. You can go for that elusive, impair, tough healing weapon that's in the battle pass right now. That would work in her hands on a defense team for sure. On an attack team, I was using a double attack rampage weapon. It will not work with her rush, but it will like remove guardian shields if guardian shields are up, and you are going to do bonus basic attack damage. But if you're using her on both teams, you're going to have her modded quite defensively. I mean, you might want to change out which gun you use. It really is up to you, but you get to choose. The default weapon isn't too much of a problem. You can just put whatever weapon you have available in her hands. So that is S-Class Mackenzie, and I think she is actually a pretty good character coming to leagues. Definitely better than the last few. I'd say she's probably the second best character we've had. I still think Ivanova is the best we've had, just in terms of utility and the fact that she was a melee leader when we didn't have one, and she opens up a lot of potential. The bypass of the shields, the focus is really, really good. So I think there is potential for Mackenzie to maybe take that top slot though, because her kit is extremely, extremely powerful. But I guess we'll have to give it a couple of weeks just to see where she lands. She could be really good, but she could fall just a bit short of the mark just because of those low defense stats. Look at those, 3,292 defense. That's the one that's getting me. But she'll be good for an attack team regardless. However, do tell me your thoughts in the comments down below. Hopefully this video just showing how her kit actually works has been useful for you. That is going to be the end of this one, guys. I want to thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.